Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. And by the way, a friend of mine, Fatanyuki, has shared something on his Facebook page. The images from Kisumu, the images you are seeing there, are from Kisumu, and he has challenged those from the mountain who have been with the presidency, three presidents, to also share their centers or their cities, Nyeri, Muranga, Kirinyaga, and the rest. And I'm reading the comments on that post, and I'm just laughing. Maybe you can also let me know whether your city is also as developed and as organized as Kisumu. But let me focus on the topic for today. William Ruto is clearly focused on the 2027 general election. But William Ruto is worried. And William Ruto is cornered. Because UDA party and Kenya Kwanza government are becoming unpopular each and every single day. The cost of living is going up every single day. So yesterday, the Secretary General of UDA party, Cleophas Malala, issued a statement. And in that statement, it was a notice about the NGC, the National Governing Council of UDA party, which will take place on the 29th day of September 2023 at the Bomas of Kenya. Let me just read for you the notice. It says, notice of the National Governing Council meeting, pursuant to and in accordance with Article 1, Article 7, 8, blah, 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 of the United Democratic Alliance Constitution, the Secretary General, upon request and concurrence of the party leader, His Excellency William Ruto, now and hereby convenes the National Governing Council to be held on 29th September 2023 at 9 a.m. at the Bomas of Kenya. Please note that all elected and nominated leaders will be expected to fully regularize their subscriptions. The agenda of the meeting will be, now these are the agenda, preliminaries, chairperson's welcoming remarks, address by the party leader, party grassroots elections, any other business. Now, if you look at this agenda, the main agenda is actually going to be on the AOB. Yours sincerely, Cleophas Malala, Secretary General, United Democratic Alliance Party. Now, why do you think William Ruto convened this meeting? Because remember, just last week, William Ruto made a trip to the Hustlers headquarters, where he stayed for 6 good hours. Previously, William Ruto had opened or launched another office in Mount Kenya. And now we are seeing William Ruto convening the governing council, basically consisting majorly of the national officials and the elected leaders. And for me, this meeting is basically William Ruto meeting with the UDA elected leaders. And it's also important to note that in this meeting, they've excluded the other coalition partners, which means it's going to be an in-house affair. So in this video, I want us to do a critical analysis about the meeting. But before we do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to dive in. Why do you think William Ruto has convened this meeting? Number one, there is growing rebellion against Kenya Kwanza, especially in William Ruto's strongholds. And because William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya, he has access to intelligence reports. And I think William Ruto is trying to act on those intelligence reports. The cost of living is going up. He promised these people that the moment it takes over, the cost was going to go down. And you now compound it to the latest increment on fuel. Most people who supported William Ruto were referred to as hustlers. Any slight increase in cost of living affects the hustlers more than any other person. So a lot of people who voted for William Ruto in their strongholds are dissatisfied with William Ruto. The other day you saw Nonini saying he is regretting supporting Ruto. The other day you saw the other lady there. And of course, this gentleman from Uasin Gishu also expressing himself.
We want to remind William Ruto one thing. We elected him purposely, not because he was special than all the other candidates. We elected him because of his agendas that he had for the hustlers. Ajua sisi bado ni wale mahasla tu, hatujapata pesa. So asidhani na akipandisha bei ya mafuta na nyanyaza matajiri ama nini. Sisi ni bado ni mahaslas. In as much as hatuna magari, tuko na mapikipiki. Tuko na mapikipiki, bei ya mafuta imeenda na hatuna pesa. You must know also that fuel is the backbone driving our economy. Akipandisha fuel, asitarajia ati kuna kitu itashuka. In fact, if you want to stabilize the economy, irudi kwe normal, let him subsidize to fuel. Na mahindi tu, bei ya chakula itarudi, bei ya kila kitu itarudi tu normal. Lakini as long as, even if he tries, as much as namna gani, ati kupunguza vitu zingine, na bado bei ya mafuta iko juu, the cost of living still bado itakuwa juu. The second issue, hii ya reshuffle of the cabinet. A reshuffle. Mimi sioni mtu mwenye ako na akili kwa hii cabinet yake. The only person mwenye ni kama ako na akili si mbaya sana ni Kithure Kindiki. At least he is doing, we are seeing what he is doing. Lakini hizi zingine hizi hakuna mtu ako serious. Moses Kuria mtu tu anatoka tu bana kwenda studio na kuongea nonsense. Right? So we want to tell William Ruto, let him go back to his drawing board. Let him review the manifesto yenye alikuwa ametuahidi. Issue with employment, let him go back and sit down. I don't see the need of having economic advisors, the likes of Kinandi, and the economy is heading in the wrong direction.
So the main reason for this meeting, if you ask me, is how do they stem this growing rebellion? And why do you think he picked only the elected leaders? The truth is, William Ruto is going to advise these elected leaders on the messaging, because UDA party is not getting their messaging right. So they are going to be taken through what to say, how to say it, how to respond. Have you seen how Rigathi Gachagua is nowadays humble? Have you seen how UDA leaders are nowadays humble? Because the cost of living, and that is the trajectory they are going to take, where they are going to agree that this is how we are going to approach this issue of cost of living. This is how we are going to approach the issue of fuel. Whether they are going to blame Uhuru, whether they are going to blame Raila, I don't know. But the thing is, after this meeting, you should expect William Ruto to instruct the elected leaders to go to the ground. And after that day, majority of elected leaders in UDA will hit the ground running with that message. Number two, of late there is emerging division within Kenya Kwanza, and of course particularly in UDA party. And William Ruto would not want a situation where there is a clear division within UDA party, because he's the president of the Republic of Kenya. He's also still dealing with the issues of Kenya Kwanza. But now if UDA, there is clear misunderstanding, it's not painting a good picture for the ruling party. So I think this is what William Ruto is going to try and address. For example, you saw the other day Rigathi Gachagua and Moses Kuria exchanging publicly. These are cabinet ministers, something which should not be expected, but they are exchanging. The other day you saw Malala engaging with Sholei, and of course you go to Mombasa, there's Sasa Nomar and Dichopevo fighting viciously. You go to Isiolo the other day when Malala attended that meeting and chaos erupted. So it's not painting a good image for William Ruto. So I tend to think that William Ruto has convened this meeting to try and address the emerging divisions within UDA party. Number three, I also tend to think that it's about the party elections. The truth of the matter is that majority of elected leaders would want to be in charge of the elections, especially in their counties, in their constituencies, in their wards. But the truth is, if you allow elections just to go on like that, without guiding, democracy has to be guided, without guiding it, then ultimately they might find some few individuals or some new individuals emerging from outside. And that's going to pose a challenge. For example, if the governor for Nairobi wants to be the leader of UDA in Nairobi County, then someone from outside defeats him. And of course, because of these divisions, it means the campaigns are likely to take that factional approach, where Tim Rigiji will have their camp, Moses Kura will have his camp in Kiambu, just something like that. And generally, these are the issues William Ruto wants to discuss with these people. And number 4 is about the 2027 general election. The truth of the matter is that William Samoei Arap Ruto is focused on the 2027 election and is a good consumer of the intelligence report. The intelligence report are showing William Ruto that things are not rosy for him, that he's losing grip. The country is sliding from him. His messaging has lost. He doesn't have a narrative. His party is losing the narrative on the ground. So William Ruto is convening this meeting to react to that. And lastly, if you ask me, I also tend to think that William Ruto is trying to keep touch. And by the way, it started raining. I think that's a good sign. I hope it's not going to interfere much with us, but let's continue because this is the last point. The truth of the matter is that William Ruto is trying to keep touch with the elected leaders. He doesn't want to fall for the mistake which Uhuru Kenyatta allowed to happen. One thing which happened to Uhuru Kenyatta was that the moment he won his second term in office, he stopped picking calls. I remember Moses Kuria at one point was being interviewed and he was asking himself, I am the member of parliament representing Uhuru Kenyatta in parliament. He's the president of the Republic of Kenya. We come from the same constituency. I can't reach him. What about you, who is not a member of parliament? What about you, who is not his member of parliament? And those accusations are actually what made majority of these MPs to rally around Ruto. Ndindi Nyoro also had a case where he was like, he had invited, the president to his constituency to go and launch a project. Remember, immediately after the 2017 election, Ndindi Nyoro penned an article, and in that article, he advocated for what he was calling benevolence, dictatorships. So he had invited Uhuru Kenyatta to go and launch a project in his constituency, but Uhuru Kenyatta never bothered. He was lectured. Then that's how he ended up at William Ruto's office. And that's how Ndindi Nyoro and William Ruto started working together. So Ruto doesn't want a situation where members of parliament are feeling that there's no direct contact. I want to ask you, when was the last time you saw William Ruto with the Didimas Baraza? Because previously, Ruto was always with these members of parliament. People like Osoro, of course Osoro being the whip, he still has that contact. But you see, there were members of parliament who would always be around Ruto. The other day they were complaining, some of them were actually complaining that they can't access William Samoei Arap Ruto. So the truth is, Ruto is trying to keep touch. I don't know what you think. That's my take. And I know so many people have asked me to talk about Joe Biden's statement on Ruto and the Haiti security. And I think that's going to be my next video. If I'll not be able to do it today, maybe tomorrow. Until next time, this is your man, Lee Makwiny. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it. You can share for me this video to help reach more people. Bye-bye.